Starting something is better than starting nothing. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Zulfi and you're here at Zulf Photography on YouTube. In this Learn Photography series, I will be teaching you about photography. In this episode, I'll cover what type of photos you want to take, what you want from your photos, and discover what your photography style is. I'll give you an example of my journey as a photographer, and I'll give you an option to share and compare photos. We'll use the hashtag ZPLP, which stands for Zulf Photography Learn Photography. So if you have any photos, use that hashtag and share it on social media, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you like this series of videos, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on social media. If you have any questions, I'll be sure to get back to you. So over the series of episodes, we'll have various sections, and providing we've set what we want to achieve quite early on, then I'm hoping you'll make the best of the next series of episodes. So we can determine a few basics now, which will help you follow the right path. As we go through the journey, we can easily adapt our goals. Here's a few questions to think about. So do you know what types of photos you want to take? This can range from different types of scenarios. So were you planning to take landscape photos? Are you particularly interested in product photography? Maybe just for blogs or street style photography? That all kind of adapts to the types of lenses you'll need further on along the lines, the type of camera you choose, if you want it to be fairly portable. So these are things that we can think about quite early on. So if you comment below just to give me an idea of what you're looking to get in terms of a camera. So just, if you already have a camera, that's fine, comment that, say this is the camera I've got. But if you're still quite early on and you're thinking about getting a camera, just comment below and tell me what the camera is you want to get. So that way we can kind of tailor this towards which direction you're taking, and see if you've used any kind of theory in the camera you've bought, or you've just gone out and got a camera that you've been suggested, or you've seen research on YouTube about it. So decide on the camera, which is one of the things which we'll cover, but if you have already got a camera, that's fine. What you want from your photos. So are you looking to just take snaps that you want to store on your computer? Are you looking for them to be published on a website, a blog, or maybe in a magazine? Because all these things will determine what type of quality we get, because a lot of the cameras you can take photos for websites, which is fine, but if your ultimate goal is to go towards magazine photography or getting stuff published, then we're going to be looking at a higher quality. So that's all things to keep in mind. First step is to see if you already know your style. Everybody has their own style. So what we'll do is there's a good little trick here that you can kind of get an idea of what types of photos you tend to take. If you look back over your phone now and check your album and just look at all your photos, maybe going back for a couple of months, maybe 3 months, and just see if anything sticks out to you. Do you get a lot of selfies in there? Are they mainly animals? Are you taking pictures of like your pets and dogs and stuff? Have you got a lot of scenery? So that'll give you an idea now that, oh, actually, wait a minute, looking back at my history, I can see I take a certain amount of photos and they're all in this range. So maybe that's a good starting point to say my style of photography is I like taking portraits, because I've been taking lots of portraits of family and friends in my phone. Alternatively, if you've got loads of scenery and you're a traveling person and you go out quite a lot, you've noticed you've got loads of great photos of locations and wide shots. So that gives you another idea of which direction to take your style. So style can also mean, do you tend to take really close-up photos? Do you tend to take black and white photos? So that's like a different scope where you tend to do more artistic photos, maybe abstract kind of shots. So these are all kind of your style. There's no right or wrong style. Everybody has their own style. So some people will prefer taking photos more from behind the scenes. Some people like to get involved in the action, so they actually got shots where people are involved. It's like the photographers as part of the scene. So that's all different perspectives, which is what's great about photography, because there's no right way or wrong way. So that's covering a good trick there to find out what your style is. But if you don't take many photos and you've not got much history to look at, that's not a problem. What you can do is, as we go through this, we'll discover your style. So you'll actually use photography to find out what you like to do, and that can help steer us towards which path we want to take for you as a photographer. So let me put things into perspective. Here's how I started. So I'll go back and show you some of the photos I took quite early on, just as a sample to let you know this is where I started and this is what I'm doing. Because recently I've been doing fashion photography, so catwalks, magazines, publishing photos into magazines as in products, jewelry for example, drinks, photography, quite a few range of things which I'll probably put up here so you can see. Let me just move over so I've got enough space to put that up. Okay, so that's one thing that I'll put up in the section here. Apart from that, my first photos, which one thing I did do is I didn't keep all my photos. So this is a tip for you. If you're taking photos, keep a track of all your photos. I thought to myself, the first photos I took were quite rubbish, so I actually deleted them and didn't keep them. But in hindsight, I should have kept them, because that is your journey. This is where you started, this is where you are. So if you don't have many photos of your early stages, you can't see your full progression, because you are going to get better as you take more photos. But you want to be able to compare that with your journey. So if you use YouTube or any other social network sites, maybe go back over your Instagram or your Facebook and see if you can see some of your early photos. I've got some photos here which I took quite early on, which is a series of portraits of local business owners. So that kind of ties in with what I'm actually doing now. So if I show you those photos quickly, I'll pop them up here. They're not great photos, but I went out of my comfort zone and I took those photos of new people. It's a 550D? No, at that time I was using a Canon 500D. So that was a very basic camera with a kit lens, 18 to 35? No, 18 to 55 I think it was, the standard kit lens you get. So I was using that for those photos, and they weren't great, but I put them into black and white and used them as part of history, because right now some of those business owners are no longer taking actually open shops. So now I've got a segment of history that was taken at that point. So that's my journey, that's where I started, and I'll show you now some photos more of recent things I've done. So that's my journey from start to where I am now. I'm a Google local guide, so I take pictures of businesses and update listings. As part of that, I do interviews as well. So now I've moved kind of in that same area, you could say, because I was doing local businesses back then. I'm still helping local businesses, so my style of photography is more commercial and helping people. So that's where I am. So hoping that gives you an insight of where you want to go. But there's nothing to say if you originally started taking pictures of family and friends, that you can't use that and adapt that to businesses, because obviously some people like to have photos which are more realistic and of the moment, not like tailored or set up. So there's always a space for everyone. That's fine. So find a few photos you like. So what we'll do is now, to help find your style, if you've not been taking many photos, if you go online and just look at a few photos, or if you've got specific photographers that you follow or you look at and you like a certain type of photo, maybe get 5 or 6 common photos that you like, and then we can analyze them and see what is it about that photo that you like. So that will give us an inkling into your style. So what I mean by that is, if you bring up maybe a photo and have a look at this and say, look, based on this photo, I like wide shots. Most of my photos tend to be wide because I want to show the full scenario, or the opposite scale of things. If I look at something close up, I like the close-up shot because it shows detail. So maybe we're going to look at macro photography for you as opposed to landscape photography or location shots. So that's giving you an idea of a starting point, and then we can adapt that as you take more photos. Because what you will find is, as you take more photos and you look back over them, you'll see a common thing coming out. So you can see, oh wait a minute, I take a lot of photos of cars, for example. Maybe I need to get into automobile photography. Is that a thing? Automobile car photography, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's a good little few things there. So what we'll do is, over the coming series is, I'll have sections where we'll actually review photos for each other. So if you've had any photos taken, we'll have like a section where you can post them and we can look at each other's photos and see what helps and what makes us better. Okay, so that's this episode, guys. Make sure to check out the new episode on the left here, and that will take you to the next series. So we've got quite a few episodes planned. I'm hoping if you found this useful.